getting through those past traumatic experiences, getting through those decisions that we've made in the past that we're not so happy about today. That's the topic for today. So come on in. I'm Dr. Darina Shine, and I welcome you. I am a doctorate professional in the field of morality and integrity in business, and working on our emotional states are very important. There are 12 steps before working on any addiction, and it happens to deal with our emotions, and that's our mission statement here. We're so grateful that you are here with us today. So let's get right into the topic. The question that I really want to resonate with and provide you with some solutions are what to do when you have made a mistake in the past and it has devastated the entire scenario of what you think life is all about. Well, first of all, you haven't lived long enough, because if you live long enough, you're going to see that every single step you take in life, even when you fall, even when you make a mistake, even when you are connected to something that feels a little unhinged or unhealthy, you will either learn from that or you will empower and inspire yourself to move through it. You're going to learn from it, so it's going to be a win-win there, or you're going to push through it because you're not going to want to stay there. But some people do choose to stay there. I was asked the question today, what do you do if you want to help a person who is not going in the right path and in the right direction? Life will, eat you up and spit you out if you connect with the wrong individual and they're not on the path that you're on. So one of the first things you want to do is stay in your lane. Merge with individuals who are connected to where you're going. So that way you won't get lost in the sauce. You won't get, put into exams that you don't have the answers for. Because many of us don't have those answers. I guarantee you, if you go back into your past decision making and those very big decisions that you felt created a lot of havoc and chaos in your life, is because you were not equipped to respond to those type of experiences yet. You weren't yet qualified enough. But without having gone through that experience, you never would have known how qualified you are today. So give yourself that pat on the back and that accolade. So let me give you a few steps of what to do when you have recognized that the past has impacted you in a way that you're unsure of, that you can't believe even happened. The first thing I want you to do is realize that you have to admit it. You can't judge another. You can't point the finger at another. Even when I look at my scenario in past lived experiences, the first thing I said was, okay, I accept it. And when you accept it, what happens is there's a healing that immediately takes place. And in this immediacy of the healing taking place, now you're capable and you're able to say, I resonate with it. Wow, I can't believe it. Now what do I do? That is the second phase. Because right there in the first phase, a lot of people give up and they just say, I'm just going to sit here in this mess. Now you can learn from it or you can get through it. Now, if you learn from it and get through it, you're going to be able to be more of a support for yourself, because you're not looking at anyone else as having the answers for what you need to do for you. Because there is a lot of people telling you that they have the answers, and it's in a textbook, it's in a curriculum, it's in something. Even in my Emotional Healing Solutions program, that is just the 12 steps that helped me deal with recovery on a basis that dealt with emotions first over my addiction. My emotion was the triggering account to why addiction, mental health, mental issue barriers became a product for me, because so many traumatic experiences happen over the course of time. The next thing I want you to think about is, once you accepted that you made the mistake, it's in the past, there's nothing you could do to change it. Now, how do you sit with what it is you do? You may cry, you may feel, embarrassed, you may have the feeling of stupidity, but all those are areas of thought that will eventually fall away once you heal. So you can hold on to them, but don't hold on to them for too long, because they're not real. What is real is you acknowledging what needs to be done now. You taking on the initial stages of what to do next. Once you're there, it's a beautiful time, because what will happen is you're going to heal. And in the healing, it may look depressing. It may look like you're isolated. It may look like you're, walking the park alone. It may look like you're sleeping more. It may look like, but what you're doing is you are rejuvenating the cells of energy that has been repositioned because of the trauma that you've just experienced. So now what you do is you don't judge, because that is a point where the mind starts to go in a different headspin, and you begin to judge, you begin to point the finger, you begin to, say, now if something has been done to you on purpose, then you can use that as a catalyst to how you got there. Like I said, someone was asking the question, how do you help someone out of, a circumstance? You can't help them. They have to help themselves, or they can drag you down right with them. So that is a tool. That is a necessity. That is a process that you have to do for yourself. And when you see that you're doing that, and you've healed from it, and you've gotten through some things, and then you've given yourself space to even analyze what has happened, to even dissect what you've gone through. Now here comes the healing solutions. And then now you're feeling upbeat, you're feeling authentic, you're feeling real, you're feeling like, I can do this. And then all of a sudden, now here comes people and support, and let me hear your journey, and let me, wow, you've been through that. And then all of this starts to emerge within you. And then it's like, wow, it's a whole new world. It's on the other side of the matrix. And that's what I want you to hold on to. When you look at the past and look at what you've done in the past, if you feel your most embarrassing moment was your most embarrassing moment, sit in that moment of embarrassment until you can heal from it without judgment of anyone else except yourself. And that's how you're going to become your better version in that area. So don't hold on to things you cannot change. You cannot change the past. You cannot change that decision you made at the time you made it that created a devastating blow for life itself. That was a test you failed. And in life, success is all about passing the exams. But in the examinations that life gives you when everything is totally unfair, failure is the success, because it is what you do in that failing moment that makes you who you're going to become. And when you finally look at yourself and you've become that better version, if it wasn't for the failure, you never would have had the experience to be able to be qualified enough to have that lived experience enough to be able to go through that mental barrier to recognize that you have the power, the ability, and the knowledge to go through anything that would make you a better person. So you have now been listening to Emotional Healing Solutions, where we provide solutions through our emotional impacts and how those impacts and barriers can successfully help us to even get through the addictions that have held us for so long. Because once you tap into the emotion, you're going to be successful with all of your other addictions, because the addictions were just traumas and triggers and things that we had to face in order to feel something, anything. But now, when you've tapped into the emotion and you've healed from that, the addictions fall off. And with that, we thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.